Peace. You're now rocking with the Leave with Logic podcast. You know the vibes. Peace, peace. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back. Welcome back. This is Brother Faheem. You are now tuned in to the Leave with Logic podcast. I appreciate y'all. Man, it's been a minute since I've been up in it, but I'm always in it to win it. So good people, good people, good people. Welcome back, man. Welcome back. Man, it's always so much good content out there. The wheel of life is always spinning, and it makes for great content. So I just try to stay in tune, man, and tapped in. So, man, what is going on? Man, I'm sure everybody's heard about this Brickgate, this case of this sister who was allegedly assaulted in Houston, and man, it would seem like it was the hit her around the world, right? Because people were talking about it on Twitter. At least Black Twitter was on it almost instantaneously. So it was interesting. It was an interesting turnout, and it was interesting, but it was also kind of disheartening all at the same time. So, man, I figured I would come on here and kind of discuss that a little bit. I actually did a video prior to this before, and I'm probably still gonna put it out, but I just never got a chance to put it out. So, man, yeah. So I'm gonna let you guys hear a little something before I get started. I want to let y'all see something. Let me see. I'm gonna share my screen. Share the screen. Share the screen. Share the screen. Yup. 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 All right. All right. So let's look. It'll be two things, man. I want y'all to see, right? It'll be two things. This is Sister Shahrazad Ali. I wanted to use the sister because she, Sister Shahrazad Ali was real big in the late 80s, early 90s. She's a follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and she wrote a book, and I think her seminal work is the book, The Black Man's Guide to Understand the Black Woman. And in that book, you know, she went over a lot of things about sisters, a lot of things that Black men should know when dealing with sisters. And yeah, so here she is on the Manosphere. I'm not sure how many of y'all are familiar with the Manosphere. I watch it from time to time. I watch everybody just to see what the commentary is and see where everybody's headspace is. But I think what she's saying is pretty relevant to the discussion that we're gonna have here today, because the topic is all about the Black community. It's all about Black men protecting Black women. It's all about prematurely rushing to judgment, and yeah, so she's gonna speak on this very thing right here. So listen up.
Can you touch on the topic of Black women saying they are unprotected and the implication it has on Black masculinity?
Well, a woman has to be in a position that she can be protected.
Uh-oh.
A woman has to deserve protection by the way she live her life or present herself.
Talk to her.
A woman has to require protection because she is in her place, in her lane. And then men might feel that they can step in and protect her. A lot of our women don't want to be protected. You can't protect them whether anybody bothering them along. Sometimes we try to protect our women from a bad idea. She don't want no protection. So there's no situation where a man that don't know a woman can walk down the street and see somebody doing something to her and automatically just jump in. So that has to be an individual choice, and it has to be a situation where the woman is in order, not out there cussing, jumping up in men's face, screaming and hollering, acting a fool, trying to act like she a man. And then when some other man deal with her like she a man, then she want you to jump in and save her. It don't work like that.
It doesn't.
It don't work like that.
It absolutely
No,
doesn't.
and you have to be careful because black women will book a fight for you and walk away.
Yeah, early, right?
See?
How many of our black men are in jail right now because of
That's
situations like that?
And I know a lot of brothers who are taking time for.
Yeah, man. That is Sister Shahrazad Ali's perspective. I'm gonna show y'all one more. We're gonna see one more. We're gonna hear from one more sister. We'll hear from one more sister. And then we'll go ahead on and get started. But I feel these comments are relevant to the topic at hand because they deal with it spot on. Because man, it was a whole. If you were watching, if you were listening, it was all over the airways. Man, it was so much commentary on this one topic till it was ridiculous. It was really ridiculous. So, all right. Let's see. Let's do it. All right, let's share that screen. Bear right with me. Let's see what we got. All right. Next is Sister Erica Lachey. I'm a big fan of this sister. She's a singer. I think she's affiliated with the Nation. I'm not sure. I want to say she is, but I know she follows the Nation real heavy. And in the past years, she's always been a voice that I listen to on the feminine side that dealt with, equality and justice when it comes to the black man and woman and how we relate. So when I found this, I was like, okay, yeah. I think she's breaking it right on down.
In regards to black women not being protected, let me first state the obvious. No man should put his hands on a woman.
Right.
We desire protection, but sometimes what we don't understand is that true protection comes with a level of control. Bodyguards are a good example. A bodyguard will make their client leave from a dangerous place. The bodyguard has to know all the details: who, what, when, where, why, and how. And the client has to listen to the bodyguard and follow the instruction that the bodyguard gives them. It's really an agreement between all parties involved. When the person who needs protecting does not follow the instruction and the direction of the protector, it puts the protector in a situation where they're more likely to lose their life. I have 4 brothers and a father, and I listen to their instruction even when they're not around. They have told me to stay away from certain places if I'm by myself or if it's late at night. They've also advised me not to be drunk or high in certain situations. Even though my brothers, my dad, and the men in my life protect me, I in turn protect them by listening to them and following their instruction. They don't have to come to my defense in some wild scenario because if I listened to them, I wouldn't have been there in the first place. And this is another thing I feel like is pertinent to say, and I know folks ain't gonna like this one. I don't have sons right now, but when I do have sons, I'm gonna teach them that there's a difference between diamonds and dirt and rubies and rocks. Rubies and diamonds are often in jewelry stores. They're in glass cases, they're secured, there's an alarm system, there's a lot of layers of protection because those things are valuable. But you could pull over to the side of the road and find some dirt and rocks. Expecting a man to risk his well being, his future, and his life on someone who does not see value in themselves or the man is asinine. That's a very asinine thing to ask. All I'm saying is protection comes with a little bit of sacrifice, it comes with a little bit of control. And me personally, I feel that what I have to sacrifice and the amount of control I have to give up is 100% worth it to receive the protection that I've been getting my whole life.
Well, all right. Yeah. So we heard from Miss Shahrazad Ali. We also heard from Miss Erica Lachey. I think you can follow the sister on Twitter and maybe on YouTube as well. And you can still grab Shahrazad Ali's books. But I think that was super, super relevant as we get into the topic now. Here at Leave of Logic, you know what I do, y'all. I try to bring knowledge, wisdom, and understanding by taking those triggering issues and topics that I know you guys are always curious in wonderment or just conversating about, and we try to bring shed some light to it and try to make some sense out of it. But it's literature based. It's based in the knowledge, doing the knowledge, and not just a perspective, right? We want to always make sure that when we're doing our critical thinking, that we do who, what, when, where, and why. And you got to do that with some type of literature. So, again, Brickgate. So a sister and I believe she's an influencer out of Houston, goes to a club, a nightclub, and she's partying. You know, it's video footage of her partying, and she gets to the parking lot, and she has a big, 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 huge hematoma on her face, what appears to be hematoma, and she's on her phone, and she's really complaining, and she's crying, and I'm gonna show it. She's crying, and she's dealing with what happened to her face, and apparently she said, "Hey, this guy hit me because I wouldn't give him my number." And she said, all these black men are standing around, and they did nothing. None of these black men did nothing. And you know, they were like, "Whoa!" You know, you can hear in the back. You'll see in the back. They were like, "Wow, what did you want us to do?" And she said, "Well, I want y'all to be a man, and why is he hitting people with bricks?" And so uh she then said, "Yeah, you know, this is crazy. Why I haven't done anything." And then she went on to create a video in the hospital. She went to the hospital, and she was saying, look at what he did to my face. I've never done anything like this." And I mean, man, people were just like, woo, all over the airways. People were, I mean, just taken aback. They were really, really taken aback. And again, it sparked for a discussion. And of course, automatically the discussion turned into well, she made a remark. Like I said, she made a remark. The remark was, these black men stood out there and did nothing. And so the headline, a lot of people, a lot of Twitter spaces, a lot of Instagram posts, a lot of social media commentary revolved around black men not protecting black women. That's why I wanted to show Miss Shahrazad Ali and Erica Lachey, because without any investigation, without doing any knowledge, without doing any observing, uh, listening, respecting, without doing any look, listening, observing, people just automatically went to the brothers. They automatically came down on the brothers. Now, this is uh, a nuanced instance, right? It's layered. So there's a lot of gray area there. But at the surface level, you know, um, due process, right? Due process, meaning um, we have to take an allegation or a claim for just that, an allegation or a claim, because what is the process of finding fact, finding truth, and getting to the justice, right? We have to deal in equality. We have to deal with everything in the same manner. We can't take one side over the other just because of what something appears to be, right? To get true understanding means to see things for what they are, not for what they appear to be. So a lot of people didn't do that. A lot of people didn't do that. Um, like I always say, my man Skip that I knew back in Ohio, he used to always say, adversity not as much builds character as much as it reveals character. And a lot of people were exposed. A lot of people were exposed. People that I thought had more sense than that. People that I thought knew how to think critically and were not triggered. But what would cause something like that though? Why would people automatically, people who are supposed to be righteous, people who are supposed to be just, people who are supposed to be fair dealing, what would cause them to then feed into the popular narrative or the mainstream sentiment? That's crazy, right? I tend to not go with the sentiment, the popular sentiment, or the popular belief about anything, because typically what happens is when the dominant group tells us a thing, it's not necessarily truth. It's a propaganda that they're utilizing to control. And so that's how I look at a lot of things. Like, man, uh, I have to take it for face value until I can do the knowledge. And I lead with logic, right? I let my logic be my guide on things, and I accept things better that way. But I wanted to show y'all some clips of what was said, and and who this, you know, different clips of what the sister what happened, you know, what happened with the sister. So let's look into the Brickgate and see what people are saying, right? Let's look at this. All right, here we go. Here we go. So that's hold on. Let's see. These are all of the just different, just different clips. I'm trying to show y'all some clips. Hold on. Is this it? Hold on. Here we go. Hold on. So this was outside. This is right after it happened.
Hit me in my face with a brick, and all these black men just watch. Look what they did to me for no reason. They gonna beat me up. I'm 30 years old. They gonna beat me up. Grown ass niggas try to beat me up.
And then every time something happens to you, you put a
All these black men. Yo, this man just.
Okay, let me explain this. So I thought this was just a plain clip by itself. You know, once people start doing the knowledge, once people, you know, a couple of well, not a couple. Well, yeah, a couple. A couple of the witnesses, the eyewitnesses that were there, they came out and spoke. Once people did a little bit more investigation, you know, they found that this sister had tried to do the same thing in 2020. And so I think this is someone who was trying, who was, you know, showing it, who was putting them side by side. She was trying to prove that the sister was giving some false information. So that's what it is. So you'll see this clip is the more recent clip, but then the next one is the past clip. But she's claiming the same thing. She's making the same allegation that she had been harmed, that people were trying to get at her because of whatever her whatever the reason. So here it is, y'all.
Yo, this man just hit me in my face with a brick, and all these black men just watch. Look what they did to me for no reason. They gonna beat me up. I'm 30 years old. They gonna beat me up. Grown ass niggas try to beat me up.
and then every time something happens to you, you put a GoFundMe up. Check out these GoFundMe's, two different ones, $40,000 from the brick, and then about $4,000 something from the time in 2020.
Why? I always lie to the people of the global minority, and then.
She never filed a police report. There was never no surveillance from the store where she claimed it happened. And then you go and you throw a GoFundMe up. I hope the women that came online and dragged black men because of this, I hope y'all drag her for scamming. I hope y'all drag her for lying, because let me tell you something. No accountability amongst black women. When a black woman's really, really in danger, nobody's going to believe us because of situations like this and because of situations like Carly Russell. I said what I said. And my name is Shalakemia.
Yo, this man just.
Yeah, so that was, you know, those were two of them. Those were two of the videos. I wanted to just give y'all what she said, but on the video that she claimed that she was hit more recently, but that video showed her past claim as well. And these are just some clips. This sister Crimson Cure, she had a very, very insightful commentary. I love this sister. Listen to what she said. She's a Muslim sister. Listen to what she had to say.
He had a bunch of people jump out the window for her, males and females alike. Don't get quiet now. Don't get quiet now, Shade Room. Because y'all the first ones put it on blast. Where you at? Where's the sisterhood at? Where y'all at? She scammed y'all out of 42 G-balls. Where y'all at? 42 y'all. Where y'all at? Where? Don't get silent. I want you talking. Make a bunch of response videos for that. How she got y'all. Got him. How she got y'all. For 42 stacks. That's more than a lot of people's salary per year. She got it in days. Huh? And it's a couple of reasons why the sisterhood is silent. And we're going to get into it because the good sis Danica kind of touched on it too.
Yeah, man, that is that's crazy. That's real crazy. But like the Crimson Cure was saying, you know, where's all the repost or the apologies? I was always taught whenever I'm insulted and someone attempts an apology, if the apology is not as loud as the insult, then it's not real. It's not real, and it's not genuine, right? The Incrisabi. Yo, peace. I appreciate you tuning in, fam. Like and share, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Yeah, whoever's watching this, whenever you watch it, wherever you watching that, whether it's on FB, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Twitter, like and subscribe to the Lead with Logic podcast on YouTube. Yeah. But yeah, a lot of people, man, had a whole bunch to say. And it's like, wow. But again, man, I just wanted to bring up some stuff, right? I wanted to bring some stuff up and out, some things that people don't think about, right? So how is it that all of a sudden, why is it that in our community now, all of a sudden, two things are happening? We are now involving ourselves. We're participating, right? I mean, I guess it's been that way, but now it seems to be more gender oriented, more gender driven. Why is it that now we are essentially killing ourselves, right? We're slandering each other's names. We're destroying our families. How does that happen? I saw a photo. It's a famous photo. It was a book called Faces at the Bottom of the Well. And the meaning of that is what a black man would see before the last thing he would see. And it was a circle, right? It was a white circle, and it was partitioned in a quadrant in 4, 1, 2. So it was 4. And then each quadrant had 2 holes in it. And those holes represented the KKK, right? And so that was significant because what it was essentially saying is during the 20th century or the 1900s, a lot of black people, black men specifically, not that it didn't happen to black women, but black men specifically in volume and high volume, what they saw before they died was those Klan members. And I'm saying now what's happening is the last thing that we see now for the virtual lynchings is one another. And a lot of times we're seeing our own beloved sisters come after us. And it's disheartening because no evidence, no nothing had been proven. No, that's a thing, right? She got hit with a brick, but she didn't call the police though. No police report was made, right? Where was the police report? She went straight online after she got hit. If you got hit with a brick, I'm assuming, well, I know if I got hit with a brick or somebody I knew and the person drove off, my first instinct would be to call the law. And, it's like you saw him because you had to get close to him if he asked for your number, right? So nobody thought about that, right? Nobody looked into this young lady's character to say, wait a minute, is this, could this be a hoax? Is this real? Let's do some let's do some digging into who she is. Not to say that we want to investigate, that means we're saying that you're a liar. It just means before we go all out, before we form up this mob, before we jump out of any windows, we have to know, we have to double check your story, right? Like Jay-Z said, and make sure that you're one of a kind and you deserve to be my sunshine. Nah, but we have to make sure that we are absolutely right and exact in what we know to be true, right? I remember when I first heard about it, I said to myself, well, um, who is this sister? And what was her behavior like, right? What was her behavior? How was she conducting herself? Right? Not that that not that um not that that means she should be violated or any woman should be violated, because it don't. I'm not with the violation of women at all, period. Right? That's not right. No man should ever hit a woman. No man should ever hit a woman. I say it again, no man should ever hit a woman. That's not what we support or advocate at all, because we really don't. But we also have to, like Erica Lachey said, we have to make sure that we teach these sisters. Listen, there is there are places that you need not go. There are people that you try to ward off from. There are energies that you do not want to be susceptible to by how you dress, by the energy that you're emitting out there, that you're radiating, or the company that you're keeping. So none of that was done, though. None of that was done. And then on top of that, you had witnesses to come forth and say, well, she was out there instigating. She was out there being boisterous. She was out there being obnoxious. Now, there are there are videos of her saying she didn't need a man. Men were obsolete. Women ran the world, and it just reeked of extreme feminism. And so my thing was, when I looked her up, I mean, I saw a couple of skits with her uh hitting white people's hats. She hit one white guy's hat. She also slapped one old white guy. But when I saw other videos, I noticed that there were a few videos that she was like, you know what, that wasn't real, that was a skit. She was shaking their hand, obviously they had a transaction, like they had agreed on something. So uh just digging, I said, okay, well, that maybe that was staged. But her, when she was speaking about black men, there had been a few videos where she was speaking very, very ill of black men across the board, right? And so, it was very confusing to me that we had no better sense uh, than to just jump on board. That was crazy. That was really crazy. But something I want to, again, something else I want to share with you guys. You know, that was a pretty tall, uh, that was a pretty tall tale that she told, and those were some pretty salacious and very harmful and hurtful remarks when she spoke about black men. Uh, when she spoke about black men not helping her, and then she accused the black man. She accused the black man. Now, the reason that's important, um, that we watch how we slander the black man, black people in general, because we understand, man, that a lot of brothers and sisters have lost their lives uh, at the accusation, the false accusation. Most times it's white women, but other times it's just women in general, right? A lot of times women might sue. We've seen that. We've seen where families come forward. We've seen where also children have been utilized to falsely accuse celebrities. So my point is, we have to be very careful and mindful of how we throw around these allegations because oftentimes, uh, historically, it hasn't worked out for us. So I pulled up a few articles from Emmett Till to Purvis Payne. Black men in America are still killed for crimes they didn't commit. It's this is the Innocence Project, and it talks about Emmett Till and Purvis. These obviously we all know about Emmett Till, Purvis Payne's case. Um, but I just wanted to read a few things so that we can remember, uh, about this. So it says more than 47,000 people were lynched in the United States between 1882 and 1968. According to the NAACP, the vast majority were black, while many of the white victims of lynching were killed for helping black people, advocating for their rights, or speaking up against the lynching of black people. Through Till's story, though Till's story has not been forgotten, such racism and inequality persist today and contribute to injustice in the legal system and beyond. From the Scottsboro boys who were wrongly convicted of raping two white women to the exonerated five, to Christopher Cooper, the man a white woman falsely told police had threatened her life in May. Black and brown men in America have continued to be perceived as dangerous, violent, and hypersexual. The harmful and racist stereotypes of black men as predators has contributed to black men being incarcerated at higher rates and to wrongful conviction. You know, that is that's one of them, right? Um, it goes on. It says in the late 1800s, claims that black men had raped or made sexual advances on white women were frequently cited to justify their lynchings. Historians say that in reality, many rape accusation claims were false and were often used as cover for consensual relationships that were, at the time, extremely taboo, and racist beliefs were so deep seated among the white communities that whites could not countenance the idea of a white woman desiring sex with a black person. Thus, any physical relationship between a white woman and a black man had, by definition, to be an unwanted assault, writes historian Philip Dre. So you see, man, this is something that's been going on uh, for a long time. This does not exist within a vacuum. It's a continuum. But like I said, now the only difference is what we're seeing, brothers and sisters, is we're seeing the gun. We're turning the guns on ourselves. It's becoming a more internal conflict than an external. It used to be, it was external. We could say, okay, we have a common enemy. We have an open enemy that we understand will kill us. But now it's almost like a virus that's eating at us. And you ask yourself, how can that be? What is it? What are the factors that are contributing to this virus? Well, I'm going to tell you what the factors are. One of those factors is feminism, black feminism, right? Because there's this idea in the feminist ideology that men are all, like you just read, that men are all predators and they are dangerous. And so they should be muzzled and they should be stopped at all costs. I can remember telling a friend of mine years ago on Facebook how feminism had killed more people than the KKK. And it was a whole thing. It was a whole mess. And I don't think they understood what I was really trying to say. It's killed more families because it's broken up the family. Because, as a feminist, a lot of women, not all, but a lot of the sisters, they really have no respect for the man, right? And it's also, when you look in mass media, look around, y'all. Look around when you're out there. All of these movies, have y'all noticed there's been a reemergence of a lot of movies like Star Wars, Superman, or the Flash. I recently saw advertising for the Flash, where it's the Flash, it's Batman, and it's Supergirl. Um, there's this huge push to feminize a lot of these uh, otherwise or typically or traditionally masculine roles. Why is that? That's crazy. Then you watch movies like The Woman King, Wakanda Forever. Now, we have no problem. I have no problem with women being in power or being showed in images of power because, we are taught in the nation, we're taught, Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, of all subjects, history is the best qualified to reward is research. So when you research and you do the knowledge and you look back at history, you understand that there were absolutely different points where women were rulers, and we're cool with that. That's totally dope. That's totally dope. But the difference is a lot of times it's at the behest of the man or the representation of the man. So when you see a man in these typically in these movies or these shows, they are either incompetent, they are jelly spine, meaning they're weak, they're henpecked, uh, or they're super duper predatory, right? There's rarely ever a man that's well balanced, that's emotionally intelligent, and knows how to handle a woman who might possess a certain degree of power, right? So um, it's a continuum, you know, and it's not only movies, it's television shows as well. Like the show that I've seen that really demonstrates uh, the feminine perspective. Like it's a little bit of mixture of the feminine perspective and the LGBTQ perspective. It's The Shy. The Shy is almost it's been totally feminized, and what you see is what I'm describing. You see a whole bunch of independent minded, autonomous, and that's fine. I don't have an issue with that. A lot of well put together, or at least mentally tough, strong sisters. And then conversely, what you see in the brothers is uh, immature, childish, dependent uh, black men. And the one black man who is not these things, Duda, he's vilified. He's a villain. Not to say that he's a good guy, but when he comes into the room with everybody, it's like the whole vibe changes. The climate or the degree, you lose a couple of degrees when Duda walks in. So, I mean, just watch and see for yourself, and you'll see these archetypes. You'll see everything that I'm saying. If you really look with your third eye, you pay attention, you'll see it. But it's a continuum. It's a continuum. And I would expect the mainstream, those people who are part of the 85, I would expect the 85 to be easily led into the wrong, hard to lead to the right. But I kind of shake when I hear people who are supposed to have a system of enlightenment or a system of righteousness. When I hear them speak prematurely, it really don't look good for us. It makes me think that a lot of these counterproductive ideologies have seeped into a lot of these organizations and groups that are supposed to be helping us, right? Right. A lot of times, we don't want to admit it, but sometimes we might be in an organization that's supposed to be for our benefit, but we've adopted an ideology that's to our detriment. So, yeah, that extreme feminism and all its vestiges, that is a reason why people can be so quick to throw the black man's justice and equality out the window. Um, it's funny because we can't say that you know we have empathy for Mamie Till, yet when the same thing presents itself to us in 2023, we go against what the very thing that we say we hate or that we abhor. You know, Emmett Till wasn't given a fair trial. He was thrown up under the bus, except it was white people that threw him up under the bus, and they killed him. They went in there, they dragged him out, and they killed him. My point is, they didn't offer him any justice. But now it's like, if you don't offer black men any justice, then you might as well have been in that lynch mob with Emmett Till. Because ideologically, if you agree with negating or not looking into justice or not looking to gain justice, that's what you're doing. That's what you're saying. You're agreeing to that. It was a shame that people uh threw Bill Cosby up under the bus. And some of y'all still think Bill Cosby's guilty. But you have to understand, when you look at that court document, when you look at that sealed document, Mr. Cosby never did admit that he had done anything wrong. He said everything was consensual. He always said that. But my point again is how quickly we threw him away, right? How fast we took the words of these ladies without doing any knowledge, without doing any research of who they were, why they were coming forward, what their relationship was with Mr. Cosby, what condition was the relationship in, what socioeconomic group were they in, emotionally, how did they stack up, how did they what was their profile? See, all that stuff has to be taken into account before you start saying somebody's guilty, or before you start convicting people in the court of public opinion. Listen, I'm gonna say something that a lot of people ain't gonna agree with. I'm not saying R. Kelly is innocent at all, right? I don't know what he is, if he's innocent or guilty. But I do know this. I do not believe that Mr. Kelly got a fair trial, simply because so much fuss was made with this whole surviving R. Kelly. He had a jury trial. So with a jury trial, what woman, what person wasn't going to be influenced because everybody saw surviving R. Kelly? I'm just saying, these are a lot of things that persuade. These are a lot of things that have nothing to do with halls of justice, but nonetheless, they are taken into account and consideration because they are put out there, right? And so it's up to us, man. Like, if we have siblings, if we have uncles, if we have people that we love that are black men, are we just going to throw them away just because a person makes an allegation? In this country, I thought you were innocent until proven guilty. Another brother that something just happened that I saw a lot of people rejoicing in his going down was Brother Polite. It was brother Polite. Now, initially, when Brother Polite had first been convicted, I think it was about a year ago when he was first convicted. Man, I remember people were almost like, yeah, I knew that nigga wasn't nothing. He ain't this, he ain't that. And I kind of felt like, a lot of people were bitter at Polite because of Polite's success. Now, I think Polite did slightly play into that by what he began to show on his lives. But there again, that doesn't say that the brother is guilty at all. That doesn't mean he's guilty. It just means that he might, at his stage of development, he might have needed a little bit of time. But I remember people were questioning his business practices, as they do with all of these black social media influencers. I've heard complaints about Boyce Watkins. I've heard complaints about Brother Ben X. I've heard complaints about Jay Morrison as of lately with that Treff fund. And before that, I saw him and another young brother going back and forth. But they all had problems with the finances. As I believe, if we looked into McDonald's or Macy's or Nordstrom's or any of those big block corporations, I'm pretty sure that they have had their fair share of business complaints and of things that have gone wrong that they had to resolve or rectify. But like I said, man, just the fact that people could forego the quality, the justice, and the equality aspect of Mr. Cosby, it was disheartening for me. It was very disheartening for me. So when this happened, when this came out, when this hit the news, I said, well, I do what I always do. I have to look into this thing because I don't know these people personally. I don't know her heart. And also, as an American, we're innocent until proven guilty, right? But that's not what happened in this case. Well, at least people didn't assume that black men were innocent, because people just ran with it. But you know, whenever you are considering or contemplating something as serious as a person's life that hangs in the balance, you might want to lead with logic. You want to lead with logic with everything you do anyway, but you really want to lead when it comes to other people and you harming them and uh you doing right by them, or dealing with justice and equality, you know. But yeah, man, I want to come on here and say that because like I said, I've been editing that video. I probably just put it up and then say, hey, uh, this is a throwback, you know, something like that. Also, man, I got gear. A nice Lead with Logic t-shirt. It's the same, just like the logo right here. I got my store. I think I'm gonna put my store in the chat. Yeah, I'm gonna put my store. Check it out. See what you think. Leadwithlogic.com. Put it in the chat. Leadwithlogic.com. Y'all can check me out on there. Check my goods out on there. But yeah, man, I really wanted to build with y'all about that. I want to say a little something because a lot of people owe them brothers a grave apology. But see, again, if you gauge things without any biases, if you gauge things without being triggered, you know, if you use the math, man, it won't let you down. You'll get to it every single time. You will get to the answer, and you have gotten to it the right way. It wasn't anything you rushed to getting. It wasn't anything somebody told you it was. It was your own process of uh, analyzing that brought you to that point. So, man, this is my first live. I'm sure I'll be going live a lot more. Hopefully, I'll go live, man. Some people will come on here and we'll talk in the super chat. And yeah, man, listen. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Look, again, like and subscribe. Go to my page. Check out my wares that I got on there. And look, peace and love. And as Brother Malcolm used to always say, maybe one day meet in the light of understanding. Peace and love, y'all.